Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Appreciate you coming out, checking out my channel. We have a couple of fine beauties here. So just ready to get out of bed this morning. Still thinking about what I was going to do today. Doorbell rings. I jump up in a flash, throw on some skivvies, and it's a scrapper that maybe I see once a month or once every 6 weeks. He's not a regular, but he calls me Poppy. So he says, Poppy. And he pointed to one. I says, two? And he says, no, one. Electric. So I went to the trailer. And I says, yeah, I'll take this one. We unloaded it. I says, 20. So I was looking at this thing from the other side. I was looking this way, and I said, something doesn't add up here. We got orange and green. He says it's battery powered, but this looks like a Husqvarna deck. And sure than shit, it is a Husqvarna deck. He says electric. I says, no, I want the deck. So it's a 21-inch Husky deck. So I saw it had all the wheels. They say Husky on them. It had the side chute. I thought, well, heck, might as well take this 2017 deck. I thought, well, somebody jerry-rigged this thing to put it on a gas deck. I'll show you this in a minute. So I says, yeah, I'll take it. He says $10. So I got everything here for $30. So kind of a strange deal on this. So the bag was not on the John Deere. It was sitting up here. And I says, does the bag go to the green one? He says, yeah. So if I hadn't have spoke up, I wouldn't have gotten the bag. So basically, this combo here, as it sits, was 20. And then, like I said, 10 for this. So Harvey took off the controls for the green works and separated here with the top of the handle and just attached this to make all the controls work. So very clever. He brought the on and off switch down here. It looks like the momentary switch or safety switch. So let's just flip this thing over. It doesn't matter which way we turn because it's electric. I kind of flipped it over to see how he bolted it. And he put his own bolts here. Looks like he had to drill them to match up for the electric. So pretty clever. So I'm going to get rid of this because I don't have batteries for any of these things. Yeah, and the batteries are gone. So I figured for 10, it's a strong deck. Like I said, 2017 on the date code. Wheels look good. I'm sure I have a rusted out pusher that I can put a engine on and change the top half of this. Let's look at this John Deere. It's the Juliet Sierra 3.5 with the momentum system. Battery start if you want. It's got a starter. Surprisingly, both keys are here. So when I saw this, I thought, oh, this was in a barn or a shed. Covered it in some sort of doo-doo. You can just see that it was sitting and getting turded on. Oh, looking in the throat, I see a bunch of gumminess, so maybe fuel's going to be our issue. I've got my turkey baster and container to check the fuel. We can look this thing over. And when this is all said and done, I have the 2015 TB130 went through the carburetor, and we'll discuss that. It's got that Lawrence Carroll shine. So let's check this turd out without a doubt. So good morning, everybody. Busy morning. I guess we can check oil. It's got a champion plug. We'll check oil. This is auto choke. The primer slot's capped. I've got my voltmeter to see if there's any juice in the battery. Date code on this 08 for the deck, January 3rd, 08. So I hope they weren't hung over from eggnog when they put this thing together. Oil doesn't look too bad, a little bit above the full hole, but it's not really at its maximum efficiency. It still has some life left in it, a little bit overfilled. Okay, so since we checked oil, I'm just going to flip this thing over. That way we got an accurate reading. Once I flip it over, it's going to be a minute or two before all that oil gets down to the crankcase. So let's check out. Oh, this is heavy. Yeah, I remember how heavy this was when I helped them lift it off. I struggled to lift this thing. This thing is built like a Sherman tank. So as you can see by the surface rust here, this thing's just been sitting unused, a lot of cobwebs, but not a lot of wear. If it was really worn out, this should be all sandblasted, and there's some paint still remaining. Tire tread still pretty good, so this thing didn't get a lot of action when it was running. Blade looks excellent except for the surface rust. You know what I mean? So an oldie but goodie. I see the belt still there. So I'm guessing just by the crudiness of the throat, there was no cover or filter. They must have threw that in the trash. They didn't want the cash. Now, I'm saying this is in a barn. Just the condition looks like it was in barn. Okay, let me get my volt meter. I don't have high hopes on this battery. Go to DC, direct current. Okay, half a volt, 0.532, so not even a volt left in this battery. So you guys have scolded me. I always take off the starter and battery. I may even buy a battery for this and make it an electric start. Somebody that's older or has shoulder issues, the electric start's always helpful. I've even had some inquiries in the past. Do I have any electric starter engines? Okay, fresh start. Continuous fuel preserver. So it's got this yellow cap. You can't buy these anymore. Or I did find some in Canada on eBay when I looked. So what you would do is buy these in a 6-pack or 12-pack. There's a little foil there. There's a couple of prongs. When you set this in, it punctures the foil and it slowly drips this preservative into the fuel. I don't know what they use, stable or something or other. So this thing is old and it's dry. There's not a bit of fuel down there. So I got some fresh non-ethanol. We know the oil's up to snuff. Put a little fuel in it and just see what it does on its own. But I'm not sure we're going to get any action. I think the carb might be gummed up. But I got some 2+2 nearby. We can goose it with that. Carb cleaner, highly flammable. It'll kick off. Just put enough in to cover the bottom of the tank. No sense in filling it if I've got to drain it. So I think this one would clean up nicely. There is some surface rust in this big flake here. I've got some John Deere green. I could take this off, peel the rest of this, osfo it, and probably put some painter's tape and just spray it in. Maybe bring it up to this mark so it's not as noticeable. Bring it up to the black John Deere and just spray paint this. Okay, we leaking. Oh, we're not leaking. Okay. Just checking the cable. It does pull back, but it's sticky on the return, so that needs some lubrication, but it's going to be good enough for us to try start it. Let me look at the engine date code. Okay, so the engine hung around quite a bit. Yeah, 08. The engine's in 07. 10th month, 31st day. Isn't that Halloween? Of 07. And the date code is January 3rd, 08. So this engine sat around before they attached it to the deck for final assembly. I doubt very much somebody switched out the engine. I think they were just ahead on production on engines. Okay, here we go. Good compression. Kind of notice the pull cord. It's all dirty here where it sat in the barn, but you go here with what's recoiled. It's all nice and new looking. Okay, we're gonna boost this thing because we had no action there to my reaction. So far, I'm happy. We'll see here in a minute. The choke is gummed up. It won't even move, so it just needs some attention. Let me try to blast some cleaner past the plate, the brass plate. That should pull enough in to get it to kick off. Okay, so we got compression. It started on a little 2+2, so we know where we need to go. Drum up a cover for it, new filter, obviously. I didn't get one with it. So this is going to turn out nice. Rear wheel drive with a bag. I just have to research the battery. I'm pretty good at that. I've gotten these jump boxes from the scrappers for $5. I take them apart, buy these small batteries and put them in. Okay, this looks like a scooter battery. I'm kind of familiar with the production numbers. The 4L-Bravo Sam. This is what you'd find in a scooter, the Chinese scooter, 49 cc's. They'll use a small 3 or 4L battery, 12 volt, 3 amp hour. And they're about 15 to 20 bucks for the baby batteries. At least they were. Who knows what's going on now, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it to it, prove it. Okay. So you remember the deal with this, it wouldn't start. The carb was all gummed up with old fuel, shellacked. Ran it through my ultrasonic cleaner. I'm using Simple Green, half simple and half water. I take a bleach container, cut it in half. Carb will go right in there. That way I can use this a couple of times. It's on its second carb clean. I did another carb prior to the Honda one, so maybe I'll get 2 more cleans out of it before it gets too unusable. So that's what I do for the ultrasonic. Fill the stainless steel pan with water, put that container in the middle and let it go to town. Drained off a little bit more oil on this because I think it was slightly above the fill mark. Cleaned it up and you guys had seen me mess with the carb. I cleaned it all up, put it back. It's time to fuel it and see what it'll do. Hoo. I think we'll be okay with this one. It fired off with Happy Juice, aka 2+2 carb cleaner. Okay, that should be enough. I'll put another air filter on it. This original filter from 2015 March 30th of 15 was oil soaked in a bunch of cockroach turds, so I'm not going to use that again. Let's turn this on, see if we've got any fuel leaks. The bowl gasket was still in great condition. I just reused that, put everything back together. Main jet was clogged up and the little pinholes in the emulsion tube were all blocked, so this thing was suffocating. Still no gas leaks. That's a good sign. Let's pull on this Troy built turd. Tommy Turd. I don't anticipate any conundrums, but who knows what lurks in the minds of evil men. 6 inches away, I got a blast of hot oil, so this thing is stuffed with oil somehow in the muffler, but started right away, still pouring out oil. So somebody suggested in the other video that they might have had this turned over, which I think is what's the deal. It just filled the muffler and it's just going to take a while for it to burn off. We'll utilize that spilled oil and do some Lawrence Carroll work. So that's how I'll deal with this. I'll just rope up the bale bar and let it idle till it burns off what's in the muffler. So success on this one, happy. I'm going to call MTD/Troy Built and say, do you want this fine looking beauty back? You can put it in your lobby. Okay, so that's all I got for you. That turned out, this looks promising. That one, and this one's just a tear down. Put this in the junk pile for the scrapper guys and utilize this deck. Deck is strong. It's got the side discharge chute. Notice the deck's a little pushed in here. I'll have to straighten that up, but otherwise it rolls and the tread is fantastic front and back. So I think I scored good with 30 for these two. Who. Thanks for coming out, checking out my channel. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. Have a good day today. If you do go out for barbecue, please tip your waitress and wait staff. They're doing an awesome job. Adios, amigos.